And, so just got that, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Nice reference.
So we, it's great to see all you guys again. It's been a couple months, and so we're if any of you that followed any of my tweets, I see most of you are. That last week was a great week to be able to go see Abigail and Austin Hatch be married, and end up being with Mo on Thursday, and then start the cycle all over again with those 5 young men we welcomed here Saturday. The other returning players will be, and all the other players are returning, but the other players will have a meeting today. We have our first practice tomorrow. Great rule by the NCAA that now we're allowed to have 8 hours a week with them. But basketball skill development was only 2. Now they've doubled that to 4, still only 8 hours, but they really didn't need 6 hours in the weight room a week. So we are really excited about our ability to start the development earlier and get more volume in the summer. So we feel good going into this period. As we announced, we have a trip that we are going to go to Spain in the end of August. You're not going to get. My plan is not to give a whole lot of information out on this for reasons going to America. Team for the USA going to America or going to Europe is we will be communicating about it, but don't look for all the details. What we're going to do is treat this summer as a great time to get better, and we're excited about the team. We really are. So we're excited about last year and just seeing those 3 guys graduate, Austin, Muhammad, and Duncan. I see Joanna Simmons now assigned with a team in Switzerland, and now we usher in the new guys, and hopefully we can be as successful with this in this era of Michigan basketball, if we could call it an era, as we were in this past one that came with after the championship in 14 to 18. There was another growth spurt with our program. I don't know whether we're back to where we were in 14, 15, but I hope not. But whatever it is, we're just going to try and grow it again and try and do some of the special things we were able to do these past couple of seasons.
Coach, thanks for the time. In the final analysis, as you look back on your decision to stay at Michigan instead of going for the allure of the Pistons job, what were the primary factors that held you here, that brought you back here?
Well, make no mistake, I was not offered the job by the Pistons. We certainly had some mutual interest, but I think they had a great candidate, and Dwayne Casey is a tremendous coach of the year. And so as a result, it was fairly easy from that standpoint, where there's alluring things about just coaching basketball. But at the same time, I like really being around young kids that are developing, and you can do the things the things I just spoke about. That you get to see a kid like Austin Hatch through that period in his life, and go to Berlin and see a kid at 17 years old, skinny as all get out, go with the Lakers, and then end up saying, let's do it again. So I think that's a primary reason why I believe this is a great fit for me here at Michigan.
Hey, Coach. You bring back 3 regular starters, a couple other guys that started at some point, but then also seniors and 5 incoming freshmen. I guess, how do you view this team as far as experienced or not? Or there's
only 3 people that have junior or senior written next to their name. So we're whatever you want to call it, remodeling, rebuilding, whatever you want to call it. But we've lost a lot of talent in the last 2 years, a bushel load of talent, and you can replace it. Some years the replacements are immediate, but some years the replacement takes 2 years. And 2 or 3 years to develop that. So who knows? But we lost an awful lot of really talented players, both offensively, defensively. But probably most importantly, we lost in the last 2 years tremendous teammates. And this new generation of Michigan basketball They may have taken that for granted. You have to work at being a great teammate, and that will be one of the things we'll teach all summer long.
Then you had these camps this past weekend. As you look at like scholarship situations for next year and beyond, how do you manage trying to predict versus how many players you
That's
should
it. We have to deal with probability, and we aren't shy at going over our limit if we feel we can go one over our limit in the Big Ten with signees. If the probability says that you're going to lose someone to the pros, or you're going to lose someone to transfer, and basically it's happening, with every program. Our thing with transfers has probably been average. Our average of our probability of guys going to pros is like really high, and so we just got to work at it. And you hand out the scholarships or offer the scholarships with great caution to make sure that we can honor that scholarship when the time comes.
Since Mo's announcement that he was leaving, how have you seen that, I guess, have an effect on John Teskey, knowing that he's going to be called into for a much larger role?
John did a great job. John's been here he'll be here 16 weeks of the summer. So out of 20 weeks or maybe 18 weeks of summer, he's here 16 of those weeks. So I think he's driven. I think he knows it's not about him playing 10 minutes a game anymore. And so I've seen some really good progress from him, but he's the key for us. There's no question. As is Austin Davis and Colin, all those guys, and who knows, we could even play smaller than that. So it's going to be interesting to see how we do it, and we'll have more answers as we go along. But John Teskey has in Camp Sanderson for 16 straight weeks. 8 of those weeks are on his own volition. The other 8 weeks are mandatory from the coaching staff. So that shows a lot right there, that he's really doing a great job, and I think you'll see results.
John, you've always been kind of a low-profile, under-the-radar kind of coach.
Yeah, I like that.
But now you've been in the championship game and we're interested in the NBA. Are you prepared for maybe there's a higher level of how people view you with all this attention?
No, I want to go back to just, I realize it comes with the territory a little bit, but I do like I want this program to be so much about our players and not about our coaching staff, or in particular me. I'd rather have it be about our coaching staff. So I'm not comfortable with it. But I do realize it now when we were leaving the NBA draft the other day, that a lot more people know who I am than I think. So it is something that I love it. I want to still make sure, Bob, every time anybody stops for a picture and an autograph, I want them to feel special about it, which could mean it's a long time to get in and out of a restaurant. But Kathleen's fine with it. My staff is fine with it. It's part of our brand. I would want our players to do the same thing.
On the positive side, doesn't it also raise the profile of the program itself and more people, not just the championship game, but the NBA thing, because people didn't view you as that, the NBA guy.
The hope is that it will assist us in a lot of ways. That people will recruiting will be better, credibility when kids come to our program is better. Our coaching staff continues to grow through it all, and then it is Michigan, and they should have a basketball coaching staff that is viewed as with a great deal of credibility. So I'm comfortable with I'm comfortable to the most part. I'm not comfortable with praise if it comes my way, but I'll keep working at it.
So you liked it better when people were calling you Coach Boeheim?
Yeah, that would be better. That would be better. Call Jim or Coach Boeheim. That's right.
We see these Twitter videos of X working on his jumper consistently. What are your expectations for him in that respect?
I haven't seen those. Will you forward those to me?
Absolutely.
I would like to see those. Yeah, I think, and I saw Iggy had a couple of videos on it. So I said the apple doesn't fall far from the other Canadian that we had in here with Nick, with his famous shooting in the snow videos. No, this is the thing he knows he has to do. We talked about it at the end of the summer, but in those 10 weeks since he left, we're not allowed to work with him at all. And so but we did talk with him before he left. And I think I was allowed to send him a video of what I believe are the basics of shooting so that he and his dad could work at it. And so if X could shoot like I think he's really worked at right now, that's going to be really important to us.
And then
but that's, he still does so many other things for us.
Right.
That he's important in every way.
And then we read that Mar had a broken foot. Do you know what the future is for him?
Yeah, I think that it is a yes, and it's very positive that he'll be back and at full strength very soon. I think he had one NBA tryout and went really well, and then all of a sudden he ended up breaking the foot. So he is it's fully repaired, and he's going to be he's good. I don't know what the plan will be, but it did negate some of his opportunities to play in the rookie league this summer.
John, you're bringing in one of your more highly touted recruiting classes, and obviously they have high expectations for themselves.
Yeah.
I guess what expectations do you have for them as freshmen?
It's as you watch this thing, it's a great question. As you watch this thing, James, it's like, and I've said this over, so I hate to be redundant, but I love our guys that just as much, the guys that came in their first year, they either had somebody in front of them that really played well, or they weren't as comfortable playing college basketball. But by their junior year, the DJ Wilsons, the Mo Wagners were really good. But you also have the Tim Hardaway and the Trey Burke, and Nick Stas just came in here making plays. Glenn Robinson, they were as freshmen. You could see. You'd obviously prefer to have the first one, but it really doesn't make a difference. It's part you embrace it and you get them to grow, and I think it's very similar in the NBA. You'll have some guys that will come in and right away they're Jason Tatum, they're getting it done, but then other ones it could be like Giannis at Milwaukee. He wasn't a star as a freshman, now he is. So you just go through it.
And then obviously they just arrived on campus a few days ago. I guess how critical is this point of the year for them before the season?
Yeah, I think the big thing, the most important thing right now is understand the academic rigor at Michigan. And that whole summer they can get way ahead. They can get 6 hours ahead of their classmates that are coming in September. They learn how to navigate this university, and that's the main focus of the summer. Make no mistake about that. Along that way, we can find these pockets to teach them some of the fundamentals that are really important. And it will be boring for them, but everybody understands in the long run you got to learn to add and subtract before you end up multiplying or go to calculus. So we're going to teach them how to add, subtract, assume they know very little, and then just grow it from there.
Back right was that?
Jordan and Isaiah, I mean, they arrived a year ago, and now they're the old guys. You kind of touched on it with some of your
wise old
upperclassmen.
men, yeah.
Right. So, I mean, how have they responded? Because they got probably a little bit, more run their freshman year than maybe they were thinking, but now they're expected to be kind of the guys.
Well, I think that I don't know, they're going to be those secondary leaders for us. I don't think there's going to be any questions that Charles Xavier probably will emerge as real leaders on this team. They both have a lot of both of them have a full year of game experience, of real game experience. After that, everybody's had cameo roles on the team, and including those two. But they've been both here the whole summer as well, and those two are showing great strides because we have worked them out. That we've picked 3 weeks to work them out, and I see some great strides, and they're learning what it is to be in the gym or be purposeful in the gym. Because both of them are gym rats, but some kids spend 2 hours in the gym and don't get anything done. We're trying to get them, you can be an hour in the gym and really get work done, but you should be in a full sweat by that time because it's really purposeful.
Hi, Coach. You were obviously at the draft with Mo and his family, so can you just tell me about your emotions when you heard his name get called?
Well, it was we had significant interest from some teams in the teens, so it delayed. It made it more. There was more drama because there was interest from teams that were earlier than the Knicks. So when they didn't pick him, we let down a little bit. The morale went down a little bit. We tried to pick it up, And just sitting there and knowing the Lakers was a real possibility. If that didn't go, then this drama just builds. But Robin Magic called Mo's agent like right behind us. As soon as I heard the phone ring and I saw this smile, and then I saw him getting to Mo and saw the tears, I knew what was happening. But it's so Dre was there with me. Our host we had 5 of our 6 coaches and staff with us. To see the camera, you'll know who's getting drafted by the cameras start to move, like in the 30 seconds before the name is announced. But we already knew because we were hearing it on the phone. And now the cameras start moving, and there's Mo looking at the cameras. It's a great moment. It is great. And I've been there before with Trey and with Nick, and it was special to be there again. But it is a culmination of a lot of work. No one knows how hard that young man has worked, and how as a 17-year-old, he left his home country and just put all his faith in the University of Michigan.
We'll go back to Bojo in front.
Just go back to the NBA thing for a second. What was, because I read, I think you said on a radio station that you felt reinvigorated almost after going through it. What was the appeal to you of going through it? And was it to prove people wrong who said you couldn't do it or wouldn't do it?
A combination of things. I think number one is I love coaching basketball a lot. And you're watching the NBA playoffs, and you're seeing what guys are doing, and you're looking like they're running stuff that we run. Now, I don't know if they watched us or I watched them, but we're running, and you can see, boy, if you have really highly skilled players, it would be, Brad Stevens kept telling me, I'm having a blast. And when you hear those words, and your season's over. And so that is appealing. And then, you know, when I told Sam this, the great Sam Webb, well, I think we all know who he is. I told Sam this is when people said, don't go to, why are you going to Canisius? Why are you going to Richmond? Why are you going to West Virginia? Those are all like train wrecks. And that's why I'm going. And I felt that the Pistons were very close to being where I'm sure Coach Casey's going to put them. So, but then I was never offered the job, so I never really had to make the decision. And that would have been a tough one.
Just to follow up to that, Ed Stefanski, who you talked with the Pistons, he said when he was in Memphis that they wanted to court you for the Memphis job, but you weren't interested then. How many times have you been poked around by the NBA?
You'll never know that, Bob. We don't need any more attention to this matter. So it is, but it is it's very, I'm honored by any attention I've had.
Back with Jay.
John, so last year you bring in Isaiah Livers, Kalamazoo kid from Michigan, does pretty well in his freshman year. This year you're bringing in David and Brandon Jones, in-state recruits.
Exciting.
So when you see them come in Saturday, just what's the excitement factor from them? What's the excitement factor for you as coaches to see these homegrown kids try and make an impact as freshmen at Michigan?
Well, there's no question. This is where we want to recruit from Michigan out. There's no question about it. We're the University of Michigan, but we also have a strong following around the country. And so when there's a young man that we're recruiting wants to come here, but and there's others that want to come here more, then you're into a difficult situation. You know, I think we have a lot of good programs in the country. I mean, our MAC schools, Detroit, Oakland, I mean, everybody has had a lot of success over time if you look at the big picture. But Michigan and Michigan State, I mean, you just find two teams. I think if you find Duke and North Carolina might rival Michigan and Michigan State for the success in the NCAA tournament the last several years. Might rival us with, you know, how many people we have been able to put in the. We got 2 elite programs in this state, and so it makes a lot of sense for the right kids in this state to go to one of those schools. And so I think that was my appeal to both of them. It may not be good recruiting. I said, why would you look past Michigan or Michigan State? These are 2 tremendous programs, and right here in front of your family, and they're as good as it gets. And so we're very fortunate that both of those two young men picked Michigan because I think they have a huge upside, and they love the University of Michigan. And they ran through these doors, committed way early. We didn't have to do all this any of the official visits and all these things. They knew what they wanted, and they chose us.
Coach, kind of building on that, there's building your program, but then there's building your legacy and then also family at Michigan, stemming back the generations.
Yeah.
And I just want to go back to what you said about Mo Wagner getting picked by the Lakers and Rob Pelinka's there, a member of the 89 championship team. Just what that means to you, what that means for Mo, and what it means to building that sense of legacy and family here at Michigan.
Yeah, I think it was really cool that Magic and Rob were both on that phone call together. That just speaks to what I just was talking about, of the success of these two programs. No, and throughout the league, throughout the league, there's just so many, in the NBA, there's just so many Michigan connections for us now. And I accidentally, when I was going to the draft and all the pomp and circumstance of the draft, I texted Rudy Tomjanovich and said, "What were you doing in 1970 when you were the #2 pick in the draft?" And he told me he was eating pierogies in Hamtramck at the time of the draft. And I thought about how much that had changed over years. So we have so much connection with the NBA now, with so many different players. I talked with Tim yesterday. I'm trying to call all of my guys right now in June, and just try to, get updates from them. And some of them will come back in the summer and filter through. I want them to all come back to Camp Sanderson for about 6 weeks, and they won't do it. I don't know why, but they won't come back.
Chris?
Do you have an ETA on your contract extension? Is it true that you don't have an agent?
That's true.
Okay.
That's true.
And why?
I've been eyeball to eyeball.
Okay. Have you ever had an agent? Or
I had an agent. I had an agent up until I went to West Virginia.
Okay.
And, but once I went through, I've had 8 different jobs, and I didn't have an agent for the first 6, and then all of a sudden I got an agent for the 7th. And I figured out, I don't need this. I don't want to say I'm super intelligent, but there are some pretty simple things about a contract and talking man to man and getting understanding. So Ward has been terrific through it all.
And what's the ETA on the extension? Have you signed it yet?
It is. We'll get to a point where one T has to be crossed or something has to be, and then somebody's out of town or whatever. I'm hopefully before we hit the road, or it could be tomorrow, or it could be at least before we hit the road recruiting. I want the recruits that we're involved with and our current players to know that the plan is to continue coaching.
And then I know that it's important to your assistants, but how important was it for you to get them some more money as well?
That's a thing that was very important to me, and as well as to them and their families. So this is something that Ward said he came to me with it. Right, we discussed it last year, and then he came to me with it. So again, he really gets it, and it was really as important. It's an important step in our program as well.
Thank you.
Andrew?
Coach, are you familiar with the new Wednesday rule regarding transfers?
Yeah, a little bit.
Do you anticipate it affecting Michigan in any way?
No, I do not think so, because we had just gone after all the things. I had a thing with Spike, and it was like, all right, go. We're not going to deny permission, but it is good to know. But the backside is, if you ask for permission, because I've been held hostage before by kids thinking of transfer, but you got to hold on to a scholarship. The backside is, if you want to transfer, we're going to give away your scholarship, and so that brings some equity there.
Josh?
Going back to the true freshmen coming in a little bit,
Yeah.
How beneficial will this Spain trip be for them, considering they'll probably see some considerable time playing basketball?
My hope is, Josh, is that we're going to get beat every time over there. I mean, I won't coach to lose, but I think the last time we did a trip, we went to Italy, and for whatever the timing was, it was a most fantastic cultural experience. But when you win every game by 30 or 40, it didn't get that team ready for New Jersey Tech and Eastern Michigan that year that changed our season a little bit. And so we're going to go over there. I think we're going to play 3 pretty good teams, maybe even play the same team twice if we feel that it's the right matchup. So the big thing is we get extra time this summer already, and then we get 10 extra practices. So that's going to be big for them, with no limitations on practice. So that wouldn't be like, hey, we're going to practice 4 hours. Let's go watch film, David, Iggy. Let's watch this, Colin. I want you to watch what Mo did. there's a lot of time in there that we can do things, because once September comes around, and now all of a sudden it's going to be September 25th or something, we're going to be able to start practicing. So it's a great head start. But as we found out back in, I guess it would be in 14-15, it was our worst season we've had in a long time, but there was other factors there too.
Going back to the NCAA rules, for football, they changed the redshirt rule to where players have up to 4 games. Would you like to see something similar for basketball?
I have said this for years. Give a kid up until the late January 1, and have him understand it. Now, our thing is a little bit different, that fifth-year transfer, it may lead to more fifth-year transfers, because more probably would say, and it's not about playing in game, it's about, we would want, like Charles Matthews, when he was ineligible, the day of a game, John Sanderson was with him for an hour just working on his body, not worrying about him having to play in that game. Well, you don't know in a game. When, let's say if John Teskey had to that point as a freshman, had played in games, and then decided not to, we would have worked a lot more with him on his body. But we couldn't. We didn't know if we could need him a game. Maybe, burn the red overall, it's just a great rule. If we could go to January 1, all right, you guys realize if we play on January 1, you've used up your year. If you haven't, right, then you can decide to redshirt. Let them make the choice instead of doing it in the preseason. Great rule.
So you don't want like a number of games. You just want a deadline if they were to.
I guess either or. Okay. Either or. What do we usually play? Now we're playing 11 games before, so I don't know what the equation would be, and then we're playing 20 after. I guess we're playing 18 after, but we're playing 13 before. Probably 10 games or something would be good. 5. Give them an idea of what it's like to sit the bench and only play 5 minutes a game, which they have never done in their lives, and that's hard to do. Now you understand. I remember DJ Wilson against Villanova. He went in, we set up a play, and he had a dunk, and somebody came out of nowhere and pinned that ball against the backboard. He fell down, he hurt his ankle, and he came in the next, 2 days later, says, "Coach, I want a red shirt. My body's not ready for this." And that now all of a sudden he's a 17th pick in the draft. That was a good move.
And then Chris Webber, he accepted Jim Harbaugh's offer to be an
honorary
captain. Do you feel like that could be a gateway to, I guess, many?
Yeah, I think we have to. Since the day that I got here, and of course there was 5 or 6 years where I was limited what I could say about that era. Since the band's been off, I've reached out to Chris several times. I continue to do that, and we're going to continue trying to build bridges and just really work at making sure there's a lot of healing going forward. That we have the men's basketball program has taken a lot of history, has taken a lot of twists and turns. I want every player that ever played here to feel like he's a part of that building, including Chris and anyone else. So we're a part of our program, and so that's a never-ending quest with every player, not just Chris and the Fab Five. So we're really looking forward to the day that we get them back here and with our team and in front of crowds and things like that.
We're just going to close this out.
One more thing on the contract extension. Do you view that as a lifetime deal? This is where it ends.
When you see it, it will be a rolling. It will be a rolling
Okay.
contract. That if I'm not notified that they're not going to roll it over, they'll notify me. So this is new territory for just about everybody in their life when you get to this point. But I feel good. I'm working out, Dre. Right? You see me, right? I'm working out hard. I'm working out, doing squats and everything. So I feel good. So I don't know where it will all end. But the whole idea is let's not get to this thing where every 3 years we got to put an extension in because it's working. And Ward has a lot of faith in that. But when the day comes, I'll know when it comes, and there won't, like I said, there won't be any big deal. It will be like Coach resigned today. And then I know when it will be the right time, but it's not now.
What do you think you would do if the NBA came calling again?
I think that I ran that race, and you can't run that race too many times, and so I ran that race. And like I said, I don't know what I would have done, but I was really impressed with everyone in that organization, and I'll be rooting for them like I always have. Stan McGunney was a great friend of mine, and one of the first guys that texted me when the word came out. So it's all, I'll be rooting for them, but I think that right now, I think where I'm right now in my life, I just want to make Michigan, just that this decade of Michigan basketball has been pretty good. I wanted to finish this decade and beyond of just having this really good a program that is always in the hunt for Big Ten championships, as you know, and that's anywhere in the top 5. I mean, is the hunt. You're a couple of games out because I think this league is about to really. It's going to be excellent in years to come. We had so many young players. We didn't get a lot of bids. That's the good news. The bad news for other programs is there are going to be a lot of good teams this year, and we better be ready.